Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting, and welcome to our channel today. We appreciate you being here. For those of you that don't know me, you can check out more information in the links below, or you can go directly to my website at fmconsulting.net to give you more of an understanding of what I do and what my company does, to help the growth of the gym and the fitness industry. Now, what our topic today is we want to talk about what every gym sales manager needs to know. Okay? And one of the things that happens so often, folks that become sales managers, gym sales managers, so often maybe they're a top flight salesperson and do a great job in membership sales. They take over that management role in sales and they don't really understand or know, or no one's taught them, what is that process to have success in membership sales. And so just because we were able to sell it doesn't mean we can manage it, doesn't necessarily mean we can teach somebody else to do it. I find a lot of folks that have been personal trainers, they find themselves in that same situation. All of a sudden now they're in charge of sales. And they may have, or you may have some good intuitive skills for this, but what you want to look for here is, hey, what is that process? What is it I need to do to really excel at this? And I guess that third category, and talking to you gym owners that are watching right now, a lot of gym owners get into the industry without that background as well. They may have been good in other businesses, may have been good in sales, maybe a fitness enthusiast, may have a lot of knowledge about fitness and even the industry, but that process for being an effective gym sales manager kind of eludes so many people. And one of the big comments I would make here to everyone watching is, in gym turnarounds that I have a chance to get involved with, which is over the years have been quite a few, the common denominator of gyms and businesses that struggle is really it's a failure to really understand and a failure to implement sales and marketing programs. So we want to address some of that here today to give you a sense of, hey, what do I need to do to really excel? So our title, what does every gym sales manager need to know? Okay, what should they know to be successful? So let's jump into this. Number one on our list is we want to hire quality staff. Now, here's the first thing to know about this. What I see too often is that we hire when we need somebody. And too often when we do this, it's a panic hire. We're hiring to fill a slot. And so what I want to suggest for you here when it comes to hiring quality staff, get yourself a plan of action together. Okay, you want to be recruiting in a manner of speaking on a daily basis. Okay, so that you're always looking for folks. Doesn't mean you're hiring every day, but you're always looking for folks, because if you find that superstar, pretty sure you're going to grab them. Okay, so get your plan of action together. Now, a couple things that I would suggest, because a lot of times, when you run classified ads and you start looking for people, you can get inundated with a lot of resumes, and sometimes it becomes simply overwhelming for it. So a couple things that I would do on the front end, maybe to help qualify some of these folks, is in your ad, when you're recruiting, put in there, when you're asking for, hey, send resume, send salary requirements, income requirements, but also include a 30-second video of why you're the best person for the job. This will start telling you a lot about the person. Can they follow directions? Do they understand how to make a video? How do they present themselves, when they do it? So a lot of great qualifiers right there. And then when they do that, and if you like what they had to say, maybe now you send to them maybe a sales philosophy test. Okay, and this is something I'm happy to provide. If you want that, feel free to hit the comments below, or actually there's a phone number in there. Feel free to text me. Be happy to send that to you. And you can send them a sales philosophy test to kind of see where they fall in terms of how they think of sales, and does how they think of sales, does that mirror how you want to run your company? So those are some things you can do to kind of start to weed this out, because at the end you want to be recruiting and looking for folks almost in the same manner you do for new members. So make sure you get a recruiting policy in place, a good onboarding policy in place. We want to hire recruiting staff, and I guess I would finish up that particular category by saying is when you hire folks, make sure that whatever it is you're asking them to do, you're looking to hire people that are better than you at what you're asking them to do. That's what the idea is, okay? Not people that are not quite as good at it, okay? So higher quality staff. Number 2 is going to be staff training. And this is one of the things that I see also gets neglected quite a bit. So when you're thinking about staff training, at minimum, I'd be doing a weekly training class, for an hour, on sales and how to do it. And I would be doing some kind of 5 or 10 minute kind of role play training every day. And here's the best way I think I can probably explain this in terms of staff training and what we think you should do. It's no different than when a customer walks into your gym and they say, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds and I'd like to get in the best shape of my life. And what's it going to take to do that? Well, hey, we'd like for you to come into the gym every day. We want to see you every day in the gym. It's going to take that kind of a commitment, to get in the best shape of your life. It's the same thing for sales training. It's going to take that kind of a commitment. You want to be doing something every day for sales training. And if you don't have, some of those things in place, check out this channel. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of free training modules on here, that you can utilize in helping to train your staff. All right. So sales staff training, take it serious. You want to treat this the same way you do the customer who's trying to get fit and trying to get in the best shape of their life. Number 3 on our list is something that you need to accept and know that conditions change. We're going through that right now, right? Know that conditions change. And so what you want to make sure you're doing here is make sure you're tracking all of your numbers, your key performance indicators. How much guest traffic are you getting? How many phone inquiries are you getting? What is your set percentage? What is your show percentage? What is your closing percentage? What sources are coming in? What's your cost per sale? All this data, make sure you're analyzing it. Because just in a very simple term, let's say your sales are down. Well, are they down because we're not getting the inquiries? Are they down because people aren't showing up? Are they down because we're not booking daily appointments? Are they down because our closing percentage is down? Are our revenues down because maybe we're not getting what I would call that second sale at point of sale? Are they down because maybe we're not getting that third sale? As that customer leaves? Are they down because we're not getting the ancillary sales? Is it because of membership? There's a host of things in here, and you want to know exactly what it is. Because if you don't know, you're not going to know where to go to fix it. You're not going to know where to go to address it. So know that conditions change, and you have to know where they're changing so you can adjust and you can get that result that you're going to have the kind of success that you want. Number 4, sales process and fundamentals. Sales process and fundamentals. Make sure that you have what I would call a proven sales process in your gym. Make sure you have a proven sales process. And certainly there's more than one way to do this, but there's a certain fundamental approach that you're going to want to have with this. Let me give you a few things that can be within this. And this title, sales process, can run pretty deep. And I would even suggest, for you folks that are looking to kind of go to that next level, check out some of the videos on our channel here, because we do address, the topic of sales process and how that should work kind of from an ABC kind of standpoint. But from a general overview, let me give you some thoughts on kind of sales process. And so number 1 that we would talk about is, regardless of circumstances, everybody gets a presentation. So every non-member that walks into your gym, make sure they get a presentation. This is a big failure of many clubs. Number 2, treat everybody like a buyer. Again, this is a big mistake that is made over and over again, is that we have a tendency to prejudge. And as a counter effect, I guess you'd call it, of prejudging, we start skipping steps of the sales process, and we don't sign up people that probably we should be signing up. Number 3, make sure you sit down with everybody you're talking to. You're doing business here, right? Sit down with them, give them this presentation, show them the benefits of being part of your facility and how you can help them get the results they're looking for. Don't just give them the prices as you're walking through the gym. And this is one of the common mistakes that I see that personal trainers make. Number 4 on our list, make sure we're using a pre-printed membership presentation sheet, not a menu of every price that you have, but you want to give a presentation on how this works. And this presentation, in part, is going to include what I call a down-the-road review. In other words, we're going to sell next steps, showing, hey, here's what's going to happen your first 6 to 8 weeks. Here's your next 6 to 8 weeks, until they get that desired result. We want to establish value of this program, because without establishing value, any particular savings or special you might be offering, it's hard to show the savings if you're not establishing value. Create some urgency in this. Without urgency, it makes no difference if your customer joins today, tomorrow, next week, or next month. So you want some urgency in there. And then, of course, you have to ask the customer to buy. And so we want to have, simple processes that anybody can ask, and also processes that make it easy, for the customer to do that as well. So sales process and fundamentals, make that one of the key things that you as a sales manager or gym owner, that you should know to have a successful sales organization. Number 5, it's, managing, how to manage. Okay, and let me tell you what I mean by this is what we want to do is, we want to have very clear goals, and surprisingly enough, not everybody does, and if you think you do, not everybody really understands them. But then what we want to do, if we have those goals, we want to manage based on these objectives. We want to manage based on these objectives. So say, for example, say my goal, I want to do 100 sales this month, 100 new membership sales. And let's just say it's the middle of the month and I'm projecting 75. And so if I continue on at that same pace, I'm going to finish 25% under what my desired goal is. So every day we come in, we're going to manage based on these objectives. And so we're going to chip away at it. And hopefully we don't wait until the middle of the month to do it. But what can I do the next 2 or 3 days to get my projections up? Maybe it's an email campaign I'm going to do for a 2 or 3 day offer. Maybe it's a personal training special we're going to run. Maybe it's an add-on or an upgrade offer that we're going to do. Maybe it's some other kind of an offer we're going to do to kind of put our foot on the accelerator, to help get those numbers up. Because what we don't want to do, success, i.e. hitting our numbers, don't make that an option. This is what we have to do. So learn to manage based on your objectives. Same thing. If you want a 20% penetration rate on personal training and you're projecting a 15 penetration rate, we'll start making decisions immediately. What can we do right now to start getting those numbers up? So manage based on objectives. Number 6 on our list of what gym managers need to know and what gym owners need to know, it's what I call solutions selling. Solution selling. One of the biggest mistakes that I see with folks that run sales departments and even individual salespeople is there's a tendency just to show off the facility, show off features, and hey, here's our price. Features and price, features and price. And you turn it into a commodity, and unless really you're the cheapest place in town, you're probably going to lose. And even if you are the cheapest, it's still going to invite comparison. So what we want to be focused on in everything that we do, whether it's membership, personal training, taking a phone inquiry, doing follow-up, it's all about solutions. It's all about solving problems for customers. It's all about providing these solutions. Nobody comes in to buy a monthly payment. Okay, so solutions-based selling. Number 7, this one's forgotten about quite a bit too, is save members. This is our retention program. I was reading a report recently that said, in the United States, the annualized attrition is running between 50 and 65%. And I know in most clubs that I talk to, they do not have a specific retention strategy in place. And so we want to make sure that we get a strong retention strategy in place because, too often, sales managers, they find themselves in this situation of having to outrun this thing, okay? And having to outrun it is tough. Let's keep our members. Let's drive those attrition numbers down. And the key word here is nurturing. We want to nurture all of our existing members. Take that approach. We want to nurture. We want to maintain interest. We want to maintain desire, okay, is what we're trying to do here. And one of the things that I would suggest that you do if you're not doing it is every morning, whoever that morning person is, whoever opens up, pull a member usage report. And generally what we're looking for every day is members that have used your gym 4 times or less the last 30 days. Because we know these are the members who are at risk. We know these are the members that a good chance are going to want to cancel here in the coming days. And so we want to get a hold of these folks quickly. And we want to start to have interactions with them. Because just one interaction, with that inactive member, statistically speaking, they're 20% more likely to come back in. So get strategies together immediately, to save members and to improve and work on your member retention. Number 8 on our list is lead management. And this is another one that really falls through the cracks sometimes. What we have a tendency to do is we simply handle people who are coming in, and there's very much a tendency not to really follow up with these folks. And talking about lead management kind of in a broad view, from what I see out there, about half these leads, maybe more than that, never get followed up on. Whether it's a phone inquiry that comes in, it's a customer, that comes in and doesn't buy, and, whatever the reason they choose not to, over half these leads, do not get followed up on. And those that do, they only get followed up on 1, 2, or 3 times. And unfortunately, when they do get followed up on, the message is, hey, are you ready to buy? And the thing I want to mention to you here, what we know, again, from just watching the numbers and tracking all this, it's going to take between 5 and 12 interactions with this person to get them back and to get them in. So we have to stay at it. But if you do it, the data shows us that between 15 to 20% is the success rate here. You can grow your business by that much. And the great thing about lead management, this is one of the first places I like to go a lot of times, because you've already spent the money. It's already a sunk cost. We become effective at follow-up. We can now improve our business, 15 to 20%. And the secret here to lead management, it's really nothing more than nurturing. When we're following up, it's about maintaining interest and maintaining desire. If the customer starts giving us buying signals, like how much does it cost? Hey, do I have to schedule a time, to come in and take the class? They start asking those kind of questions. That's your cue to go ahead and book an appointment for them. But we're trying to nurture, maintain interest and desire. We're trying to move them through that whole process to get them back in that buying cycle. Number 9 on our list of what you need to know, right now to improve your business is make sure you're writing a plan of action. Every month, you should have a new, fresh plan of action ready to go. I know I talk a lot about this, but clubs that struggle, one of the common denominators is they don't plan. They simply show up, and they're hoping for the best, but there is no plan. And what they end up doing, they end up really becoming a victim of circumstance. They're just handling crisis after crisis after crisis, not really moving this thing forward. So get yourself a plan of action every single month. And one of the big keys to this plan of action, and again, you can check other videos on our channel here and where I talk about some of this, but one of the big keys to a plan of action is, we've got our goals, we've got, here's what the plan is to reach that goal. But then also it's roadblocks and setbacks, because you're going to have them. Things are going to happen, okay, that are going to be roadblocks. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't hit the number. It doesn't mean we shouldn't hit our goal. Success is not optional. So if that happens, now what's the plan? I've said it many, many times that the people that are the best at this, the owners, the managers, the salespeople that are the best at this are the ones that are good at plan B. Okay? So roadblocks and setbacks. So get yourself a written plan of action. Number 10, make sure you have all the sales tools that you're going to need, to be successful here. It's no different if you're going to go build a house. You need to have a certain amount of tools to do this. You can't do it with one or two tools. And so, thinking about the tools that you might need, to run your business, a guest register, a needs analysis, a referral sheet, a price presentation sheet, a telephone inquiry script, a telephone inquiry log sheet, a full CRM. I mean, these are all some common tools that you should have. And even as I, talk to you right now about this, there's plenty of clubs that do not have that. I mean, there's plenty of clubs that do not have a CRM. There's plenty of clubs that are not using automation to help them follow up. There's plenty of clubs that are not tracking all their incoming calls. And you're never going to be able to, like we were talking earlier, manage by objectives. You're never going to be able to do that unless you do these things. So make sure you have all the tools necessary, in your toolbox, to get this job done. Number 11, prospecting. One of the things that we have to do, and we have to do this on a daily basis, is we have to prospect. One of the keys here, one of the secrets, is you want to keep your pipeline full. Don't let that pipeline, go to zero. As soon as that pipeline goes to zero, boy, it doesn't matter how good you are in sales. If you've got no one to talk to, it's not going to do you any good. And one of the numbers I like to look at, for you as an individual salesperson, set your goal. I'd like to collect maybe 10 new leads every day. How can I get 10 new leads? Not necessarily 10 people who are ready to buy right now, but 10 new leads, 10 prospects every day. You do that every day, you're adding 200 leads a month, just from your own production levels. And this can come from a host of sources, follow up with alumni, with former members, referrals at point of sale, referrals off the workout floor, corporate leads, relationships with local businesses, local communities, vendors that you work with, Chamber of Commerce programs, networking events. There's a whole lot of ways you can do this, but be focused in terms of, kind of the process for you as a gym manager, for you as an owner, is let's keep our pipeline full. Don't find this thing going down to nothing. And I'll tell you one of the other mistakes that I see. Sometimes there's there's an over-reliance on maybe social media marketing. Hey, I just want it done for me, and so I'm going to spend maybe more than I need to get this done. Make sure you really monitor this. Again, getting back into manage by objectives. Kind of know acquisition cost and lead cost and cost per sale. Know all these numbers. One of the things that I try to look at, if the club's doing some bigger volume, I want my sales staff to be producing as many leads as what the company's producing. So maybe even look at it, kind of in that regard. But certainly, we need to make sure that that the pipeline's full and that we're generating the number of leads that we need on a daily basis. Number 12 on our list is providing member service. Okay, and this gets back to some of our talking about retention and that, but we want to provide member service, and I want to give you a couple things to think about here. The fitness industry, it's the fitness industry, right? We want to get healthy, we want to get fit, we want to get strong, slim and trim. It's vanity for a lot of folks. But the truth is, there's really not enough gym rats out there, to get the number of members that you want. And so one of the secrets to the whole member service idea is we want to be entertaining. We're in the entertainment business from where I sit as much as we are the fitness business. Look for ways to entertain, member fitness parties, member events, look for reasons to entertain people. Have, food, get companies to come in and cater food and, big parties and celebrations and open houses and grand openings and, all kinds of things. And all these can tie into, production events where you're getting more members in, but we want to entertain our members. And one of the things that, I guess I call it, I don't really call it retention managers. I call the person like a club concierge. You can have that club concierge, which could be your operations director, could be that club concierge. Front desk manager might be able to do it. Maybe even a personal trainer, might be able to be that club concierge. But it's that same mindset. If you walk into a hotel, what's the idea of that club concierge? And we want to to satisfy everything that you want and need. We want to take really good care of you. And one of the other things too, back in the early days of this industry, the fitness industry used to be viewed as kind of the middle class country club, where for a smaller fee you can get catered to and get the services just like you would at a country club. And take that same approach here with member service. You want to give them more than they ever bargained for. Give them more service than they ever bargained for. Really take good care of these folks. This is going to be a massive competitive edge for you, and it's also going to reduce that attrition. And so now, the pressure for these new sales is not going to be, near as much. Number 13 on our list is your structure. Okay, how is your business structured? And some of this, if you're not used to doing this, might require a little bit of conversation, might require a little bit of research. But do you have enough salespeople? I've got clubs that they want to do, 200 sales a month, 100 sales a month, but they have no sales staff. Those are big numbers to not have a full-time dedicated sales staff. Do you have enough front desk staff? How about instructors? Is everybody cross-trained on this? One of the things when you kind of talk about the structure of your gym is, you're never going to cut your way into growth. You have to spend your way into growth, but you have to make sure that you're doing it right, because we're not trying to overspend. We're not trying to kind of break the bank here, but we are trying to produce. But make sure your structure is in place. If you haven't done it, I'd suggest, kind of writing out a flow chart of how you want this business to look. And how does it put you in the best situation to succeed? Like a lot of times, if I have an owner right here, the owner might have a sales manager, 4 or 5 people underneath that sales manager, and then maybe an operations director, and underneath that operations director is maybe front desk, personal training, housekeeping, maintenance, childcare, whatever it might be, kind of taking everything off the back of that sales team. And so that's one strategy that's worked very well, and it allows that sales team to focus on nothing but prospecting and producing and lead management and getting sales. But what it also does, if I'm that owner, if I ever did lose a sales manager, and if a salesperson was not ready to take over, sometimes on a temporary basis, my operations manager could step in there and get that job done. Okay, so make sure your structure's in place. Number 14, and last on our list, is simply goal setting. And I know I talked about this earlier in terms of managing by objectives, but do you have goals? Do you have them? And maybe even more importantly, does everybody know about them? Because I can't tell you how many clubs that I get involved with, and I'll talk to the owner, and the owner's not happy in a sense because we're not hitting numbers, and I'll ask the salesperson, hey, what's your goal? I don't know. All I know is I need to make sales. And so make sure everybody is clear about what the goals are. Make sure everyone is aware of what the goals are, and then we're going to manage based on these objectives. Okay, goal setting is crucial, and I'll kind of finish this with one thing when it comes to goals. And goals can be, the goals in your gym, the bigger goals and things like this. Let me give you 3 things to think about when it comes to goal setting, because what happens on these goals, we might set them at the beginning of the month, we might talk about them, but sometimes they never come up again. And so for you gym owners, personal trainers, sales managers that are running these departments, think about goals like this. When you get up in the morning, first thing, write down your goals. You want to keep these goals at the forefront of what you're doing. You want to keep these goals at the forefront of what you're talking about and doing every day. Write them down first thing every morning. When you go to bed at night, write them down again. Write down your goals again. Because it is so easy to get distracted. There's so many distractions. There's so much noise out there. It's very easy to lose sight of this. I mean, our members do it all the time in terms of, hey, they want to lose weight. They want to get in shape. They want to look better. They want to feel better. They want to be healthier. But life takes over, and all of a sudden, they're off course. Happens to them all the time. We see it frequently. Same thing happens to us. So write down our goals, first thing when we get up in the morning, last thing before we go to bed. And then I would add a third time in here for you. If at any point during the course of a day that you experience disappointment, this is a good time to write them down again, because you don't want to get off track. Success is not optional here. We decided we're going to have success. We need to stay focused on these goals. We're going to focus on our objectives and manage based on these objectives. If you experience disappointment, take the time, write down these goals. All right. So folks, I hope you found this beneficial. You know, these are some of the key things that we see that every gym manager should know, gym sales managers should know, gym owners should know. You know, follow these steps. You know, take a look at them, play this back. Take good notes. You know, which ones apply to you? Which ones are you doing a pretty good job on right now? Which ones are you not? If you feel like you could use some help on this, hey, feel free to reach out to me. I mean, you can reach out to me direct. You know, we have you know, phone numbers in the information below. Feel free to call or text. We're offering also a free 45-minute strategy session. If you want to get hooked up with that, there's no cost or obligation for that. You know, we can help you with that. But you know, now's the time to be seizing market share. Now's the time to be advancing into your marketplace. You know, you want to capture as many sales as you possibly can, and we want to keep them. We want to do it as a result of solving problems, you know, for our customer. So if this information is valuable to you, if you feel like it's beneficial, hey, we'd appreciate it. Please, you know, subscribe, you know, to the channel. Hit that like button if you like the content here today. You know, helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And if you have friends, associates, colleagues you feel could benefit from this information, you know, hit the share button as well. Again, my name is Jim Thomas. My company is Fitness Management and Consulting. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks.